Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Levi. I manage the artist residency programs here at Jack Straw Cultural Center. Nice to see some old friends and new here this evening. I want to start by reminding us that we're meeting on the lands of the Duwamish, Suquamish, and Muckleshoot nations and other Coast Salish peoples, past and present. And the staff board and artists of Jack Straw Cultural Center acknowledge that we're living, creating, working, and playing on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle and the Salish Sea, and we honor them and the land itself with deep gratitude. We also are very thankful to Maya for flying all the way from Chicago to put this show up and then to come here and give this talk tonight. So Maya is part of our New Media Gallery Artist Residency Program. We have 3 different artist residency programs. They all have applications are available for the next year of them now. The New Media Gallery for 2026-27 and the Artist Support Program for 2026 are due November 24th. If you're somebody who works creatively with sound in any way, I encourage you to apply for those. And the Writers Program, which is specifically, it's not project-based, it's a cohort of writers that's selected and goes through training, and we present them in different ways. That application is due November 2nd. You can find out more information on all of those at jackstraw.org. I want to thank Zeos and Daniel, our technical staff tonight, making everything look and sound good both in the room and on the internet. And these programs happen with support from the City of Seattle, Office of Arts and Culture, For Culture, Washington State Arts Commission, the NEA, the Arts Fund, Rainier Foundation, and individual contributors, and we always appreciate any size or type of individual contribution. But yeah, really, we're just happy to have you here and happy to have Maya here. So without further ado, Maya Nguyen. Thanks, everybody. You can clap.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. I have 30% of my voice, so you can come closer if you want to. It's hanging on by a thread. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if you had time to check out the work in the gallery. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I like to kind of talk about this starting image of how I feel sound works, or what is sound. And it comes at the opening of this guy Brandon LaBelle's book, Acoustic Territories. And it's something that he overhears on the train. Number one, that's what I like. It's like he's overhearing this conversation. And it's between a father and a son, and the son is asking, where do sounds come from? And the father says, well, from a special place. And then the boy is kind of restless. He's like, okay, well, where do they go? And then he goes to an even more special place. And then the boy is really confused. And then the dad does this kind of gesture. So he points to his own chest, he makes an arc, and then points on the son's chest. And so where does the sound come from and where does it go is always transitional. It's always fluid. It's communicating between one thing and another. And I kind of like also thinking about the work in the gallery, that it's these non-linguistic sounds like aha, ooh. And Zeos and I programmed on using Max MSP, an algorithm that basically shuffles them. So what you hear is actually entirely randomized sound. So whatever dramatic arc that you draw from them probably says more about you than about the sound. So if you go, ooh, ooh, aha, that's something that you heard. And I like that, thinking about this arc, it's a really pretty picture, but it's susceptible to interference and noise, so that when I'm talking in this direction, you're also hearing it, even though I'm addressing it your way. So that's why I like about the spatiality of the sound in the gallery as well. So sound communicates from one being to another. But what if sound goes not from a person to a person or from an animal to an animal, but from a person to an object? So, what is, in this sense for me, a sound object? And I kind of wanted to pivot in this direction, which is a big part of my work, also to conserve my voice, because I want to show you a demonstration of the sound objects. But yes, I often work with sound, and I create sound through found objects. And I like found objects, like things you find or buy or you already have, is that they're already embedded in the world before you do anything with them. There's something to bounce off of already, like, these objects have a past, they have a context, and they have a general understanding of how we should and shouldn't use them. So there are all these protocols built in to the object already, and I kind of like to start off there because I'm an artist who doesn't need creativity in that sense, like the world around us is already giving us so much. And I think the second one is also my artistic trajectory, that I didn't come to art early. Like as a child, I was studying, I was focusing on language and text and poetry. And so I wasn't, I guess I was using words, but I wasn't painting or playing the guitar in a band or making film. So I guess when it was time to be interested in making art, I wasn't going for the paintbrush or the piano. I was going for, like my iPhone, because it's always in your pocket. It's always in all of our pockets. It's like the most hyper-portable pocket-sized recorder, You cannot get better than that. I use things like these dried clamshells for their rhythmic drum machines. I use my own voice. More recently, I use the sounds of a breast pump. It's like it pumps milk from your breasts, and it has this. Okay, later. I use pipes. I use metal sheets. So I'm now going in a more industrial direction. So yeah, I guess I want to show some basic interventions with objects. Okay, hold on. Okay, so these are in the gallery. They are these bobblehead kissing dolls made in West Germany in the 50s, but also in Hong Kong. So I don't know if you look closely, I think you might notice that there's like certain features that one could code according to race and also according to gender. And that's kind of what I was interested in. They start with a boy and a girl, and the point is they have a little magnet in their head, and when they get close enough, the heads lean in and they look like they're kissing. And these objects don't make sound, but what I want to show is that just by redirecting one of them, it changes. So all of a sudden, when it's not mouth to mouth, but you turn one doll 90 degrees and it looks like it's whispering. Because all of a sudden the mouth is now into an ear, which is whispering, and the ear is into the mouth, which is listening. So I was interested in that, and here it gets more like telenovela. So, they're whispering to this person who's surrounded by these two people, but who's actually looking longingly at this one who's looking out at you. And this figure is single, and that triggered quite a lot of people at the opening. This is kind of the panorama. So as I said, again, with thinking about sound, that it you cannot control where it goes, it leaks. So I think of how sound works in an urban public space like a park. And that's kind of what's happening here. Like all these groups are actually interacting with their sound, and you're not sure who's commenting on whom. And this is on the very high shelf. So, I mean, if you're tall, it doesn't work. But if you're less tall, you'll see that as you walk closer, you're like losing visibility, and they become like this hidden secret. And I kind of like that. Like the middle couple is kind of whispering to each other. One of them is like, okay, cool. And then there's drama. There's a lot of drama going on. So this is an intervention of objects that don't make sound, but I think are pretty sonic. So another way of intervening is to misuse an object and to play with it. So this is a sound essay, which is a performance I make that shuffles different sonic inputs into one performance. And basically, I make a dance techno track out of breast pump. Hopefully we can see this. Yeah. Also, the "you are sexy," actually, it's a recording of me saying it backwards. Long story, but I teach myself how to speak backwards as also a kind of misuse of language. So it's like, hiskei sa ui. You just have to believe that it's "you are sexy" backwards. And I want to show also this image that I let people hear. So I instruct them to put the earpiece in the center of the nipple, which is how you would use it, but I demonstrate it on the ears. So you will see that people are listening to them like headphones. Okay. Moving on. This is a CD player that to me, I don't know if it to you, looks like a rice cooker. So I have in it a CD with the recording of a rice cooker sound. And the description is, an apparatus that guarantees your home will be constantly full of the sweet sound of jasmine rice. So this is what you hear. Okay, this now is boiling, right? And it also sounds maybe like a CD damaged or something, so I kind of like the transitional space. Yeah, and it also makes clicks. Yeah, so I like here that one object pretends to be another, like when humans are imitating bird calls, but in terms of objects. So I hear you can make a helicopter sound with a flower. It was a project that I did, also a sound essay, a series of performances that think about Foley. And, oh, I'm so sorry. and helicopter sounds in Vietnam War films. Because that's such a big part of American imagination of Vietnam through the Vietnam War, and one step further through helicopter sounds of the time. But so many of them are actually Foley or re-recorded and edited from this one helicopter that's like the primeval helicopter of all movies. So I was like, let me try to make Foley of helicopter sounds through kitchen objects. So I had people watch a silent video of a helicopter, and here I'm using like packing tissue paper to create the sound. So this is like humans imitating bird call. It's like mimicry. But I was exploring actually how sonic trauma works, which is that the objects that trigger trauma often are entirely unrelated to the subject of the trauma itself. So something you can imagine like, I don't know, a loud vacuum cleaner becomes a drone or something like this. But, you know, it's that these things come from unpredictable places, and I kind of love how that's how Foley works. The practice in film of basically making sounds in the studio to be the soundtrack for a film. And then, yeah, one last example from a sound essay called The Sea Like the Desert Doesn't Quench the Thirst, or Planet Blah. I think about natural sounds and faking or making artificial natural sounds and what that means for the identity of the natural sound, and taking from a Turkish sound artist, Cevdet Erik. He uses carpets and he does these kind of movements to create ocean sounds. So I took that as a cue to make my own ocean sounds with radio static. And it's like, it's interesting to scramble the value of these sounds. So we kind of like, we find ocean sounds peaceful, but radio static is maybe a discarded sound when there's nothing playing. And I basically focused on this discarded sound. And I just made the seagulls join in. Yeah, so that was just really quick. because I feel my voice giving away. So then I just want to go to the last project, which I will also demonstrate here afterwards. It's called Open Sonic Object. So it's an object or installation that encourages performance, and it has all these signals to invite you to make sound together, and with objects that might or might not be associated with sound. But I think that's the invitation part, that it doesn't come with preconceptions of mastery, like a clamshell or a spoon. So one way I do this is to have an amplified metal sheet, so that anything that touches it is going to make sound. So you can just even rub it or tap it, and it will react to that. And let me see if I have an image of it. Yeah. So this is in Hanoi. I made an installation of this just last month. So it has these objects. It has these scores that I think look like menus. And it has two of every object. It looks like, I don't know, like a hotel set you up for your wedding or something. But yeah, there's two of everything. There's a score, which is like a user manual. You can read it, yeah. And so it started off as a performance in Chicago, and then it moved into an installation, which is what I call the Open Sonic Object in Hanoi. Yeah, and it has like, the first drawing is rubbing your finger on the rim of a glass, which I think is that's quite recognizably sound making or music making, right? Rocking the clamshell, and then what would you scratching a spoon or a fork on a metal sheet or a plate, and that was kind of going in the direction of noise. And metal fabrication in Vietnam is cheaper, so it's more scratchy, and these are really friendly, so they won't sound noisy, but the idea was that they're really scratchy and it brings fear. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, so this was an image that it takes several hands to get this going, and I thought it was also really beautiful because it's an odd number of hands. And up close is the score, and in the previous score it had Vietnamese translation at the bottom, and it had a spoon instead of a fork. Yeah, so now I will demonstrate, and also you are free to stick around and play with it if you want to. Also, you're very welcome to. So maybe just give me 2 minutes to set it up. Okay. Should I just turn this off? It makes its own sound. this is the contact mic, which picks up like vibrations onto it. I think you can give a better explanation. So I just stick this in the back. This. You can make some sound, I feel like. So.
The studio just makes people quiet. It's just the nature of the space.
Please. Let's see. Okay. Nothing works on first try for Ted.
No matter how many times you've done it.
That makes it worse.